Deep within the archives of European folklore lies a tale that has disturbed scholars for centuries. What most consider a simple children's story may actually document something far more sinister. The evidence suggests that the Brothers Grimm recorded not just a fairy tale, but the remnants of an ancient ritual that defies our understanding of reality itself. Before we proceed, make sure to subscribe for more chilling investigations. It was late autumn in 1812 when Jacob Grimm first encountered the woman who would change everything. The 47-year-old scholar had traveled to the village of Steinau, nestled in the dense forests of Hesse, following reports of unusual local traditions. The villagers spoke in hushed tones about ceremonies that predated Christianity by millennia. Steinau appeared unremarkable at first glance. Timber-framed houses lined cobblestone streets, and morning mist clung to the surrounding woodlands. Yet something felt fundamentally wrong about the place. Dogs refused to enter certain areas of the forest. Children avoided specific wells that had provided water for generations. Even the local pastor admitted that baptisms performed in the village often failed to take hold. The woman approached Jacob near the ancient stone well at the village center. She was elderly, perhaps 70 years old, with silver hair and eyes that seemed to hold knowledge of things better left unspoken. She claimed to be the last keeper of the old ways, the final guardian of rituals that stretched back to the time when gods walked among mortals. What she revealed to Jacob defied every rational explanation. The story of the Frog Prince, she insisted, was not fiction, but a carefully preserved record of actual events. More disturbing still, she claimed the ritual described in the tale continued to be performed in secret locations throughout the German countryside. According to her account, the transformation process required specific conditions that aligned with astronomical phenomena. The ritual could only be attempted during the new moon, when Venus appeared closest to the horizon. The participant had to fast for 7 days, consuming only water drawn from wells that had never been blessed by Christian priests. The woman led Jacob to a clearing deep in the forest where the ground formed a perfect circle of barren earth. Nothing grew within this space, though the surrounding vegetation flourished with unnatural vigor. At the center stood a stone altar covered in symbols that predated any known writing system. The carvings seemed to shift and writhe when observed directly. She explained that the ritual began with the participant entering a trance state through the consumption of specific fungi that grew only in this sacred grove. The mushrooms induced visions of other realms where the boundaries between species became meaningless. During this altered state, the consciousness could supposedly transfer between different physical forms. The process was not without tremendous risk. Many who attempted the transformation never returned to human form. Others came back fundamentally changed, retaining animalistic behaviors and instincts that made normal life impossible. The woman spoke of participants who returned with memories of experiences that lasted decades, though they had been absent for only hours. Jacob documented everything with scientific precision, though he struggled to accept what he witnessed. The woman performed a demonstration that challenged his understanding of natural law. She placed her hands on the stone altar and began chanting in a language that seemed to bypass the ears and resonate directly in the mind. The air around the altar began to shimmer like heat waves rising from summer pavement. The temperature dropped noticeably, and the forest fell silent, as if every living creature had fled. Then the impossible happened. The woman's reflection in a nearby pool of water showed not her elderly human form, but that of a large raven with intelligent, human-like eyes. When Jacob looked directly at the woman, she remained unchanged. Only her reflection revealed the transformation. She explained that the ritual allowed consciousness to exist simultaneously in multiple forms, with the reflection serving as a window into the alternate state of being. The implications were staggering. If the woman spoke truthfully, then shape-shifting was not mere fantasy, but a documented phenomenon that had been practiced for millennia. The fairy tale served as a coded instruction manual, preserving the knowledge for future generations while disguising it as children's entertainment. Jacob's investigation revealed disturbing patterns throughout European folklore. Similar transformation stories appeared in cultures that had no contact with each other, suggesting a common source of knowledge. The Celtic Selkies, the Norse Berserkers, and the Slavic Rusalka all described beings capable of shifting between human and animal forms. More troubling were the modern accounts. Local authorities in several German states had documented cases of individuals who claimed to have undergone voluntary transformation. These people displayed behaviors and knowledge that seemed impossible for their human minds to possess. They spoke of experiencing time differently, of perceiving reality through senses that humans do not possess. The woman revealed that the ritual had been driven underground by the spread of Christianity, but secret practitioners still maintained the tradition. They gathered at specific locations during celestial alignments, performing ceremonies that their ancestors had practiced for thousands of years. The knowledge was passed down through bloodlines, with each generation selecting only the most trusted individuals to receive the complete instruction. Jacob learned that the transformation process left physical evidence that could not be explained by conventional science. Participants often returned with scars or markings that corresponded to injuries their animal forms had sustained. Some displayed enhanced senses or abilities that persisted long after the ritual ended. Medical examinations revealed cellular changes that defied current understanding of human biology. The woman showed Jacob a collection of artifacts that supposedly belonged to successful practitioners. These included jewelry that changed color based on the wearer's emotional state, mirrors that reflected multiple versions of the same person, and crystals that resonated with frequencies beyond human hearing. Each item seemed to pulse with an energy that made prolonged contact uncomfortable. Perhaps most disturbing were the testimonies of those who claimed to have witnessed the transformations. These accounts, collected over decades, described scenes that violated every natural law. Humans melting into pools of liquid that reformed as animals. Consciousness transferring between multiple bodies simultaneously. Time flowing backward during the most intense moments of the ritual. The woman warned Jacob that documenting these practices carried significant risks. Those who revealed too much about the true nature of the rituals often suffered mysterious accidents or simply vanished without explanation. The knowledge was meant to remain hidden, protected by forces that would eliminate any threat to its secrecy. As Jacob prepared to leave Steinau, he noticed changes in his own perception. Colors seemed more vivid, sounds carried additional layers of meaning, and his dreams were filled with visions of flying over landscapes that existed nowhere on Earth. The exposure to the ritual site had affected him in ways that would persist for the rest of his life. The woman's final revelation was perhaps the most unsettling. She claimed that the ritual was not just about transformation, but about preparation for something far greater. The shape-shifting abilities were merely the first step in a process that would eventually allow humanity to transcend physical existence entirely. The fairy tales were not just preserving ancient knowledge, but preparing future generations for an evolutionary leap that would fundamentally alter the nature of consciousness itself. Investigation into the woman's claims revealed that similar rituals had been documented by other scholars throughout Europe. The Vatican's secret archives contained reports of transformation ceremonies that had been suppressed by the Inquisition. Alchemical texts referenced procedures for achieving voluntary metamorphosis. Even scientific journals from the period included articles about unexplained biological phenomena that matched the woman's descriptions. The most compelling evidence came from archaeological discoveries at sites throughout the Germanic regions. Excavations revealed ritual chambers containing human remains that displayed characteristics of multiple species. The bones showed signs of transformation that could not be explained by any known medical condition. Carbon dating confirmed that these sites had been in use for over 2,000 years. Modern analysis of the symbols found at these locations revealed mathematical relationships that were not discovered by mainstream science until centuries later. The carvings incorporated principles of quantum mechanics and dimensional theory that should have been impossible for ancient peoples to understand. This suggested that the ritual practitioners had access to knowledge that transcended normal human capabilities. The investigation was abruptly terminated when Jacob received word that the woman had died under mysterious circumstances. Her body was found in the forest clearing, but the cause of death could not be determined. More disturbing still, witnesses reported seeing a large raven circling the site for days after her death, displaying behavior that suggested human-level intelligence. What do you think really happened in those ancient German forests? Could the Brothers Grimm have unknowingly preserved evidence of humanity's most guarded secret? Subscribe to uncover more hidden truths that challenge everything we thought we knew about our world.